More now from a key member of both the Intelligence and Foreign Relations Committees, Republican Senator James Risch of Idaho is joining us from Boise right now. What do you make of this rather tense relationship between the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Israel, Senator?
Well, Wolf, I think it's really time for people to stop and take a breath and relax for a bit. To my friends that are watching in Israel, I want to say that our constitutional form of government provides for 3 equal branches. And although there is a spat between the Prime Minister and the Chief Executive of the second branch of our government, there is no deterioration between the first branch of our government and the people of Israel and the government of Israel. Other than perhaps a handful of the 535 members, we remain strongly committed to Israel. We understand that you do have ups and downs from time to time, but overall, the expression that the members of Congress gave to the Prime Minister 2 weeks ago gave him a thunderous applause and standing ovations as he explained in clear detail how strongly the bond is between the United States of America and Israel. That relationship remains solid today. And for Israel's enemies who are watching, I would tell you, do not take solace and do not take comfort in these news reports you see that there is a spat going on. There is a bond that continues and will continue between the United States of America and Israel.
But you know, Senator, that even in the aftermath of Prime Minister Netanyahu's victory, getting himself reelected, the White House is publicly saying that they're going to reassess this U.S.-Israeli relationship because they're more inclined to believe what he said on the eve of the election, that he would never allow a Palestinian state to be created on his watch, that what he said in the immediate aftermath of the election, that he still believes in the so-called two-state solution, Israel and a new state of Palestine. Basically, they're saying they don't trust him anymore.
Well, you know, Wolf, the statement that they're going to reassess does not apply to the first branch of our government. There are very few people in the first branch out of the 535 members, I believe, who share that view. As far as what the Prime Minister said, I think there may have been something lost in the translation there. Certainly he did refer to the fact that there would be no state solution, but he said, and I believe the exact words were today. And he's certainly right that today, that's a long ways away. Having said that, he has been firm for a long, long time and committed to a two-state solution. He has reaffirmed it over and over and over again since the media has reported that there was some weakening in that position. I'm surprised, and I think a lot of people are surprised, that the White House has reacted the way it has to this. I'm wondering if it isn't something else that's causing them to have the feelings they have.
Well, I'm sure they were irritated by his visit to Washington to address that joint meeting of the U.S. Congress. They certainly didn't like what he had to say. Is that what you're hinting at?
Well, that clearly was expressed by the White House, which seemed, because of the magnitude of what we're dealing with here, it seemed rather juvenile the way this played out. The president had the opportunity to meet with him while he was here, and the president declined. So there's no question that on a personal level, there are issues between the two gentlemen. That is so small compared to the overall issues that we are facing in the Middle East, and particularly with the relationship that we have, one of the best relationships, if not the best relationship, of any country in the neighborhood.
Senator Risch, I want you to stand by. We have a lot more to discuss what's going on, these ISIS massacres in Yemen and Tunisia, a lot more, much more with Senator Risch when we come back.
This is CNN Breaking News.
The breaking news, President Obama now speaking out, and the Senate's holding up the confirmation of his Attorney General nominee, Loretta Lynch. We're back with Republican Senator James Risch of Idaho. Senators, you know, Republicans are insisting the Senate finish work on another bill before even bringing up the Lynch nomination for a full vote on the Senate floor. I want you to listen. Here's President Obama just coming out, speaking to a reporter for the Huffington Post.
You don't hold attorney general nominees hostage for other issues. This is our top law enforcement office. Nobody denies that she's well qualified. We need to go ahead and get her done.
And is Eric Holder prepared to stay as long as possible?
Yes, he is. And the irony is, of course, that the Republicans really dislike Mr. Holder. If they really want to get rid of him, the best way to do it is go ahead and get Loretta Lynn confirmed.
All right, what do you say about that, Senator Risch? What's your reaction?
Well, you know, this just amazes me. I don't know what he thinks we're holding her hostage for. What is on the floor of the United States Senate right now is a human trafficking bill that the Democrats support. They voted for it unanimously in committee, and now they're filibustering the bill. Once that filibuster's over, we're going to vote on that bill, up or down, and the very next moment there's going to be a vote on the Attorney General nominee. But why they're doing this is absolutely beyond me. I'm surprised somebody in the media hasn't asked for a clear explanation for the Democrats why they're filibustering a bill that they want and is also standing in the way of getting to the vote on the Attorney General nominee. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
They don't like
the president knows.
They don't like the provision in that sex trafficking legislation that has restrictions on abortion rights for women.
Problem is that was in there when they all voted for it unanimously, and the language is identical to the language that is in every appropriation bill that they always support.
Will you vote for the? Will you vote for the? Let's say you get over that hurdle and she comes up for a final vote in the House in the U.S. Senate. Will you vote to confirm this woman who has been widely respected as the U.S. Attorney in New York?
Right. Yeah, no, I will not vote for her, and my reason is very clear. I disagree vehemently with her view of what the president can do by executive action. However, she is going to be confirmed. All Democrats are going to vote for her, and there are enough Republicans who are going to vote for her that are going to confirm her. What we need to do is get on with it and get it done, get it behind us, and move on.
Can't you do two things in the Senate at the same time? Deal with the sex trafficking bill, but at the same time, let her nomination come up for a vote?
Wolf, not when the Democrats are filibustering. All they got to do is sit down, shut up, and call the roll, and the next vote's going to be the Attorney General vote.
All right, we'll see what happens on that. Let's get back to the breaking news we've been following on these ISIS deadly massacres in Yemen and Tunisia. What's going on now? You're a member of the Intelligence Committee. Is ISIS real? They're saying this is just the tip of the iceberg. Are they right?
Well, I don't know if that would be a good way to characterize it, but there is very good reason to be concerned, and you and I have talked about this on a number of occasions. The troubling part of all of this is these attacks are being carried on by people who are not operationally connected with ISIS. And although ISIS takes credit for these are simply, or more likely, just ISIS-inspired. Now, what does that mean to the average American? What that means is this can happen anywhere in the world. It can happen just as it did today in Yemen or earlier in Tunisia, or it could happen in Philadelphia. I mean, these are this is very troubling because they are not connected operationally, only inspirationally.
Here's what also is very troubling, that Washington Post report this week that the Pentagon has basically lost track of about $500 million in U.S. weaponry, aircraft, equipment, machine guns, tanks, all sorts of other sophisticated weaponry. $500 million worth of stuff left behind in Yemen as the U.S. evacuated the embassy. That stuff was supposed to be used by a friendly Yemeni government, but that government has now collapsed. You must be really worried about that.
Well, I am, and I'm troubled by whoever made that decision, because it was obvious long before we left and long before there was a collapse of the Yemenese government that they were probably going to be incapable of standing up to the Houthi rebels, who, as you know, are backed heavily by Iran. It was pretty evident that the bottom was falling out long before it did.
Yeah, it's not just in Yemen. Think of all the billions of U.S. weaponry left behind in Iraq, now in the hands of ISIS as the Iraqi military abandoned their positions in Mosul and elsewhere. This is extremely dangerous stuff. Senator Risch, always good to have you here in the Situation Room. Thanks very much for joining us.
Good to be with you again.
Thank you. Just ahead, ISIS calls it